Have you ever heard of an old PC game called The Theatre? Yeah, I didn't think so. Probably because many people say it doesn't even exist. You see, The Theatre is an old computer game released around the same time as Doom. Today, if you ever find it, it's only available on crappy bootleg CD-ROMs, which, more often than not, don't even actually contain the game. The actual legitimate copies that they say were released back in the day feature a blank cover with nothing but the sprite of what has been named the Ticket Taker. He is simply a poorly drawn pixelated Caucasian bald man with large red lips, wearing a red vest over a white shirt and black pants. He's completely emotionless, though some say that if you smash the disc his face is shown as angry the next time you look at the cover. But this is just dismissed as an urban myth. What is peculiar about the theatre, though, is that there is no developer name on the jewel case, nor a game description on the back. It's simply just a ticket taker on a white drop background on both sides. The game was initially known for its inability to install correctly. The installation process immediately locks up the computer when the user reaches the license agreement. Also strange about the licensing agreement for the theatre is that whenever the development studio is supposed to be named, the text is simply a blank line. Anyways, most people who have claimed to owning one of the original CDs say that have figured out how to install the game by simply rebooting their computers on the licensing agreement with the disc still inside. Then they are prompted to press I agree on startup. Then they continue with the installation. The game then starts up without any introduction beside the main menu that is simply the sprite of a movie theatre's exterior on an empty city street. The title fades in and then the three menu buttons, New Game, Load, Options. Selecting Options immediately crashes the game to the desktop. Load is said not to function at all, even if you do have a save game. Nothing happens when you press it. The New Game is the only working menu option. Once it is selected, you are in the first person view. You are standing in an empty movie theatre lobby, with the exception of this ticket taker standing in front of a dark hallway which one can only assume leads to the theatre themselves. There's nothing to do but look at the poorly drawn, most illegible movie posters on approach the ticket taker. Once the player moves towards the ticket taker, a very low quality sound clip plays saying, "Thank you, please enjoy the movie," along with a speech box saying the same thing. You then walk into the hallway and the screen fades to black, and you're back in the empty lobby and do the exact thing again and again and again. While this may sound like a really horrible game, a number of peculiar things occur as you continue to play it. The number of times that you have to continue into the hall after giving your ticket to the ticket taker before the strange events happen is unknown. Most state that it's completely random and could take from anywhere for the first playthrough to the 400th. What happens though has deeply disturbed some players. The first occurrence is when the player fades back in after walking in the hallway. This time they will notice the ticket taker is completely absent. The player then, without any other options, decides to walk into the dark hallway. The sound clip and text box mentioned previously still plays in the absence of the ticket taker. But when the player walks into the hallway, the screen does not fade out. It goes pitch black as they walk deeper into the hall, but the player's footsteps sound clip is still playing as they continue to push up button on their keyboard. Those claiming to have played the original game report to have felt extremely uncomfortable walking down the hallway, anticipating the whole way something horrible happening. Well, eventually the player is unable to move forward. There is nothing for a few moments before a strange sprite that is described as the ticket taker, but with a swell for a face appears and stands before the player. The original players of the game say their bodies immediately froze up and their stomachs churned when they saw the sprite, which has been approximately named the swirly-headed man. Nothing has happened as the swirly-headed man stands before them. Then suddenly a piercing screech plays as the game glitches out. This lasts for a few minutes, with the screeching being continuous, and the players abruptly returned to the lobby, with all the sounds and graphics being as they should be. This game continues normally for the next couple of cycles, entering the hallway, with a couple of original players claiming the swirly-head man will briefly appear and disappear in the corner of the screen, as a brisk yelp sound effect plays. Then at some point after meeting the swirly-head man, the player sees the ticket taker pacing back and forth, though there is no walking animation. Sprite's limbs are completely static, so he just hops up and down slightly as subtitles substitute. With his eyes being wide and his mouth open to simulate a worried facial expression, some players note that the movie posters have been replaced with images of the swirly-head man, which causes them to immediately turn the character's head away from the posters and approach the ticket taker. Then another, different low-quality sound clip plays, but the speech pack contains nothing but corrupted characters that cause whatever text that would have been in the box to be completely illegible. Due to the extremely low quality of the sound, it is debated by players what exactly the ticket taker says at this point, though it is widely agreed that he says never reach the other levels. Then the screen fades out, once again and returns to the player back to the starting point in the lobby, but the ticket taker is gone and the hallway is blocked by a large brick wall sprite. Touching the brick wall will immediately crash the game, and that's all there is to it. No one knows of the other levels, or how to gain access to them, nor is it known why the swirly-head man causes such acute fear in those who have seen him in the game. All the original copies of the theatre have either been lost or destroyed, but the creepiest part is the fact that it is all the original players of the game, and they will occasionally see brief glimpses of the swirly-head man out the corner of their eyes.